Obviously, the world went crazy. NASCAR Twitter is absolutely going nuts over you being one of the best over the last 3 hours of running. And honestly, probably I had a lot of fun out there, I assume. Probably good that you also got that rookie orientation done, too. So that meant you could get right out and get going on the first morning there. Did you guys get really a ton done in that short amount of time, or did you at least get because you were out there for a lot of laps. I obviously saw what was going on, as many laps as you probably could have done. You happy with at least what you got done?
Yeah, no, I am, because honestly, like, looking at the forecast before the week, like, I didn't think that I'd get on track at all. So yeah, I was happy with what we got to do. They sent me out for a couple runs kind of by myself just to get acclimated, I guess, to stuff, which was good because it felt very fast that first run. So my brain wasn't quite ready for that. But then after a couple runs, I think they put a new set of tires on and started sticking me out there in traffic, which was fun. You know, it's something I've been anticipating for, I don't know, a year and a half, it seems. Yeah. So, yeah, it was good to finally get out there with other cars and just like visually see what an IndyCar looked like behind one and feel what that
mirrors,
run.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and the mirrors too, like what it looked like when somebody was closing on me from behind. All of that. And then, yeah, like as the tires started wearing, you also seeing what that did as well. So, no, it was good. It was fun to, I guess, go a good lap. I think NASCAR Twitter and Sprint Car Twitter thinks I'm like the greatest of all time, but I don't think they quite realize that like the draft is a big deal there. So, and not everybody is drafting either on the first day.
One of my favorite things so far is reading the replies to the tweets of Pato, what he said after the big toe quote. One of my favorite things has been reading that. It's like, well, might as well, race is over. Let's all go home. Like it was very funny. But again, we love welcoming the new folks that are kind of understanding IndyCar, I think, and seeing what the $500 is all about. The toe is obviously a massive thing. You'll see through the practice week, everyone's going to set a hero lap. Scott Dixon often sets those laps, and no one gives him for that either. So you know what I mean? It's a good thing. Let's talk a little bit about what that was like, because again, as a new driver getting into something new, there's always that mindset. Like I had the same thing before I got in that Cup car. I was like, I have no idea what to expect until I actually physically get in it and feel like what's going to happen. Didn't feel great at the time, but that's a different story. But for you, when you first get into the dirty air, right? You guys in NASCAR, currently in the Cup Series, dirty air is talked about, I think, more than ever right now, right? Air is super important. But talk about that initial feel of, okay, we've got these cars doing 220 plus, someone's slotting in front of you, you're trying to get back into the draft to get that run. Describe a little bit as best you can the sheer difference of what that felt like.
Yeah, it was, so, you know, I've heard a lot about like the wash and losing the nose and all that. So like, you know, they sent me out in traffic, you know, with the fresh set of tires, and I was kind of like lifting for, you know, a lap or so behind people, just kind of waiting for the nose to take off. And I realized like, man, it's not that bad.
New tires, you're heroic. Feels heroic. You're like, this is
so
great.
I was like, wow, the balance isn't that different between clean air to dirty air. And then, so yeah, I was able to run that good lap, get a good toe, and run flat, you know, for a lap behind whoever that was. And then like I did some other runs by myself, and I was getting tight. And then Newgarden was, you know, a little bit behind me, so I think they left me out there to kind of let him catch me to pass me. And as soon as he passed me, my car took off. It got super tight. So, and I didn't even think that I was super close to him, but. So yeah, that was a bit surprising, but even that, like, I don't really know if that's magnitude of tight that I got was real. You know, my tire, when we pitted, you know, I ran like one lap behind him, we pitted, and I had cords on my right front. So I don't know if we'll like quite get to that point. Yeah.
That's deep in the tire life. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I'm hoping that it's not that bad, but I also understand it's not going to be that good either. But yeah, I just think there's still like so much left to learn. Yeah, I think it was good for me to like get out there and, you know, check some things off the checklist, but I'm still not confident. Like I couldn't go
for sure.
I couldn't go out there and race right now and feel like I would do a good job.
I've got one more before I let Chase jump in, but talk a little bit about the in-cockpit adjustments, right? This car, probably a few more things that you can do than the Cup Series car, right? You've got roll bars, you've got the weight jacker. Have you really dove into those types of adjustments yet? Has that been helpful for you to figure out how to use those?
Well, so like yesterday, it's cold, it's got mega grip, and they're like telling me like, oh, just keep up with your adjustments, keep up. I'm like, I don't even feel anything. Like, I don't even feel like I need to adjust anything. But I'm like, well, they're saying something, so they must see something on the data that, maybe I'm getting tight even though I don't feel like it. So I don't know. I haven't really felt the adjustments much yet. I think as the track loses grip, I imagine all that stuff will matter more. But yeah, I mean, for me, like in a stock car, you turn on a brake fan or you turn on, a fan. Like, it's not a big deal and it's not doing anything really. But like in the midget stuff, like you ran the Chili Bowl, there's cockpit adjustable shocks and all that. Well, we just take those out of my car. We don't even have shock adjusters in my car because I don't know
there
what
you go.
You do. And I would rather just focus on driving. So I don't know. I feel like that could be an area maybe where I struggle in the IndyCar is just like staying on top of those adjustments. And I don't know, maybe I figure out that you don't really need to use them as much as what people say. I hope that's the case, but we'll see. But yeah, it's just a lot going on. That's kind of been the biggest thing I've been stressed out about to this point is just like memorizing where the stuff is on the wheel, remembering what does what. Every time I get in the car, I'm like, all right, so remind me, like, if I go forward on my bar, or what does that do? Or my weight jacket, what does that do? I feel dumb having to ask all the time, but I'm not a mechanical person at all. So, I just don't know.